Hi, as you can tell, my name is Chris, and I wanted to go ahead and start this YouTube channel to talk about what it's like for me to deal with health conditions and hopefully give some advice to other people that might be going through similar things, or just helping people relate a little bit more. I know I've spent a lot of time watching the YouTube videos for people with chronic health problems, and I just kind of wanted to go ahead and add back to the pool of everything. So I guess I should probably start with saying what conditions I have. So far I have been diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder. So it affects all of my joints, ligaments, anywhere that there's connective tissue, so it also affects organs and whatnot. I have the hypermobility type. So it's more so a dislocation sort of deal, or I can hyperextend things. I'm not going to do too much. I'm just going to do the normal stuff for me, where it's just if I were to put my palm flat, my fingers will bend up this much. I can do stuff where I can bend this down to here. I just don't really want to do that. I've been having a lot of pain and problems with my joints more than usual lately. So I don't want to aggravate anything more. It's stuff I can behind my back reach my hands like this. I can turn 180 at the waist, turn my head sideways to sideways. I'll probably show a few things periodically. There's a lot of crackling in my joints. I'm not going to do much, but okay, it's not going like that. I don't know, that really wasn't much. It was only 4 or so, but that definitely gets people's attention. It is a genetic condition, for those of you who don't know, if I didn't already mention that. With it, there is, however, we don't know the genes that cause the hypermobility EDS. We know for the other 12 subtypes. However, given the pattern of it is autosomal dominant inheritance, so the assumption is because all the others are genetic and it fits the proper scheme of things, we just go ahead and assume that it is. With it, the awareness color for it is zebra print, because the way the test comes back is stripes. So that's why this thing is zebra print. This is my shirt right now. It says, we never know how strong we are until being strong is the only choice we have. And then it says Ehlers-Danlos syndrome awareness, and it's got the little zebra print awareness ribbon. I've got a bunch of shirts kind of relating to this stuff because I try to use it to start a conversation. I'm kind of winding down for the night, so I'm not wearing them right now, but I actually usually have the ring splints. You'll see them in later videos. I also swap around some different braces according to what I need when. A lot of times I'll have a neck brace for when I'm just I can't hold my head up any longer. And I'm frequently covered in different bits of tape and such from physical therapy. Yeah, I do physical therapy for the EDS twice a week. A place in Rhode Island called Mildowney Physical Therapy. They specialize in EDS stuff. They take care of other patients too, but they have a lot of EDS and different chronic pain patients, just to try to work on building up the muscle stability so that you can manage everything. So the other thing that I'm formally diagnosed with right now is POTS, or postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. It is a form of dysautonomia. So that just means that the automatic functions of my body don't really regulate themselves that much, and the most common symptoms with it are just accelerated heart rate. So it'll jump up really far from when I go from a more laying down to a more upright, whether it's laying down to sitting up, sitting to standing, or laying to standing. You kind of get the picture. For me, it's also when I go from hot to cold. I tend to let myself get cold a lot more now, just because it's easier for me to recover from that. But I will overheat very easily, and I have a lot of problems with that. I kind of have episodic passing out, even if it's not all the way passed out. It might just be my vision gets a little bit wonky, or I don't really process what I'm seeing well, or it goes to the corners are shadowed in and it's tunnel vision, but I can't fully process what's in the center, where everything's orange and then everything goes black, and then after that there's I just start to get really scrambled. I'll fall to the ground. I start to lose proprioception, so I won't understand where my other body parts are. Eventually I'll get to the point where I've lost every sensation except for hearing, So like I might not fully process everything, but I know that I can hear it because I can pick up little bits like later on if you ask me about it, or if you prompt towards like, someone said something having to do with this or this, and like elaborate. Like I found out I've been able to. And then it goes all the way to the point that I'm fully passed out. These like episodes will only last for like a couple minutes maximum. Usually I won't be like completely unconscious and non-responsive for too long. Like less than like 3 minutes for not super responsive, but like I might be nonverbal for a while. I might not be able to stand back up. I might have to let things chill out, but I'll be able to be like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna survive. But yeah, there's also different stuff where it's like I can't keep my hands and feet cold. Oh, sorry, I can't keep them warm. They're constantly super cold. There's been stuff with like Raynaud's that's come up, but like my cardiologist doesn't think that I have that. I'm honestly a little bit confused on when there's the difference between the dysautonomia or that. I've like looked into it medically, but it's like I have discoloration with it. It'll get cold when I'm just kind of sedentary a little bit, or like when I get anxious, but like the symptoms kind of overlap there, and the treatment for it is honestly the same. I wear compression stockings. I try to keep things warmer. I have like insulated shoes, stuff like that. But yeah, dizziness is kind of a part of my life, and like the longer I stand, I feel like the dumber I get, because I get to choose between, do I want mobility or high mental capacity. So a lot of times I'll use like walking aids to balance between having the EDS and the POTS. So those are the only two that I'm like formally diagnosed with right now, where we're like, you officially have it, no questions, no and, ifs, ors, or buts. Of course, if they find some sort of thing that upsets it all, then sure, it's possible, but those are the steady ones right now. So we also think that I have mast cell activation syndrome, or MCAS for short. I'm still going through like the tryptase tests and whatnot, but like you don't have to have the positive tryptase elevation. I'm apparently like right on the borderline, but like I have a bone marrow biopsy coming up. I've been doing some other testing for it. I'm currently on cromolyn sodium, which is like a concentrate thing that I just kind of break off. Like I squeeze it into water, mix it up, and drink that like 4 times a day. And then also on something like ranitidine or something like that. I'm still not that great at saying it because I'm kind of new to it. I have to say I did discover that I had restricted breathing before, because I was like, I can breathe a lot more smoothly now after going on the cromolyn. And the ranitidine kind of helped with some of the weird traveling rashes, because sometimes I'll have like bumps or a rash just like all over part of my face or like part of my body, and I'll just kind of come and go, and it's not really based entirely on like environmental factors, or at least not ones that I can tell. So sometimes it'll just be there for part of the time, it'll disappear, and then it'll come back, and it can look kind of freaky. Usually it's a little bit more consistent, but sometimes. I do know of some like distinct like allergies with it, or at least ones that I think are allergies, but anyways. Then I'm also suspected for tethered cord syndrome, and that one was brought up by my physical therapist. They've seen quite a few people with it, and I don't really want to go like too much into the details because like a lot of the symptoms overlap with stuff, but I'm honestly at the point where I hope I have it, because it would explain a lot of stuff that's going on. And while it's not like, oh, the easiest thing ever, like I've done a urodynamics thing actually just earlier today. I've done the 3-part MRI of my full spine. And I'm just waiting for an appointment with the neurosurgeon, Dr. Klinga. I never really know how to say her name, so I apologize if I'm getting it wrong. Please don't hold that against me. It is what it is. I'll eventually figure it out, but probably not until after my appointment, to be completely honest. I've heard it on the phone, but I still keep flipping between the two. But I'm kind of nervous that like if I don't have it, it means like, alright, so what's actually causing these problems? And how much longer will it be until we figure out what that is? And I'm like, I just want to know what it is, want to be able to do something where it's like a surgery or something to fix it, rather than you're just going to have to manage 100% of the symptoms for the rest of your life, just about. Like, I'd like something that it's like, okay, so you might have some lasting effects, but we can take care of a lot of it. Like, that sounds pretty great to me. I've also just been on the track for the stuff with that, with physical therapy, about trying to build up the muscle, so if I have it, then I'll have a quicker recovery if I have to do the surgery. But that's just going to be a matter of seeing what's going on. The tests have been done. I'm just by no means an expert. Absolutely not an expert, especially on tethered cord. So I gotta wait for the experts to look at the stuff, think about it, and to get back to me. So let's see, otherwise I'm also suspected for endometriosis, which is basically when the uterine lining develops outside of the uterus. It is thought to be higher with, the chance of getting it is thought to be higher with connective tissue disorders, because it's able to like slip through them. But some people will argue they're not linked, and some people will argue they're linked, and I personally think that there's some sort of correlation, but like, you never know. I don't really want to get into a debate with people on the internet about this. I'm just gonna back off, be like, that's my opinion, but once more, not a professional, nor am I an expert. I just know personal experience, and we don't know for certain if it's endometriosis. Now, the reason that we don't know is, while I've been having the extreme pain that especially lines up with my periods, fluctuates a little bit now because that's completely irregular, but that's neither here nor there. And also, I'm like almost entirely lacking progesterone, so that's something. My doctor is really worried about doing the laparoscopic surgery, which is the only way to diagnose endo. Because the Ehlers-Danlos can prove like higher risks with everything, whether it's like sutures closing things, and like, yes, it's minimally invasive, but you never know. So we're trying to see if we can go about all the other roads to see if we can improve whatever it is. Should it be endo or something else? But I stand by, we think it's endo. The pelvic floor person that I went to is like, so have they looked into endometriosis? And I'm like, that's what we think it is. But that physical therapist hasn't really been able to help too much, so I'm going to be sent to another person for pelvic floor in the upcoming month. Just that fun waiting for doctor's appointments time. It is what it is. And then I kind of have some mystery GI problems going on. We've ruled out gastroparesis, so luckily enough, that's not what I'm dealing with. There is some stuff with delayed, like, digestion, or at least it feels like it gets stopped up inside of me, but not an expert, just talking about what I'm feeling. I also, like, the other day had an upper endoscopy. Stuff apparently looked normal. However, I had biopsy of like 3 parts. I'm kind of feeling that now. Oh, between the urodynamics and the upper endoscopy, I'm just like so sore. Oh, my body wants to rest forever. But yeah, trying to figure out all of what's going on, how to manage symptoms, what do. The main things that tend to end up being things that I have control over are like the muscle stuff, where like I live in a vat of Tiger Balm with lidocaine and like other topical stuff that will actually work, because I have a high tolerance to a lot of painkillers. They wear off quickly, or they just make me feel kind of loopy and don't do anything about the pain, and I'm like, but I want to be with it, I want to be cognizant, but I don't want to feel the pain. So yeah, trying to figure that out. It's a rough patch. I guess a little bit more about me. I am a student. I am currently technically undeclared, but studying neuroscience and then trying to work in like a computer science minor, and either, in addition to all of that, a psychology either major or minor. There's a lot of overlap, but if I do not like if my health stuff gets in the way and I'm not able to handle medical school, because I am really interested in becoming a neurologist. If not, then I might be looking into psychologist. It's something else that I really care about. But it's also like, all right, I know I could 100% handle this with all of my health stuff, and even if it gets worse, this is like the way that I think I can do it, but I want to try for the neurologist first. I have hobbies that would definitely declare me as a geek. I cosplay. I haven't been able to do that in a little while though, so like sadness. I LARP. I make my costumes for that too. I'm starting to get into Warhammer. My boyfriend's kind of getting me into it. I'm building the army and whatnot. So I've got one for Sigmar that like Sylvaneth, which I'm really excited about and I'm really going all out with. And then I'm also doing like a 40k. Not as into that one right now, but I haven't actually gotten to the rules. So yeah, tabletop, D&D, that whole sort of thing. I used to do a lot of sports, but health problems were like, haha, you're not getting enough energy in your body for this. Haha, you're in too much pain. You're too prone to injuries. So a lot of that stuff is on hold right now. I know, it's like, but your heart rate accelerates from going up a hill or sitting up. How did you manage doing sports? Because I played soccer for like 17 years. And I made it to states for like throwing shot and disc and track and field, and I actually like ran too, and I did field hockey and swimming and gymnastics and figure skating and tons of stuff. My school had mandatory sports. But basically it would just be, alright, I am going to exercise. For the first 20 to 30 minutes, I am going to feel like I'm dying. But because this is how I always feel when I exercise, I know I'm not actually going to die. I'm just gonna have a bright red face, be dizzy, have my vision kind of go wonky, maybe tune in and out a little bit, and then just try to not collapse on the ground, drink a lot of water. And then after that point, everything will regulate, figure itself out, and I'm good to go. But yeah, I guess other things that might be relevant. I obviously see a lot of doctors. I have a boyfriend named Hank who will definitely be in some of these videos later. There's a cat nomad who will pop up. It's technically Hank's, but she's my baby too now. And I have 2 guinea pigs. So I guess that's kind of the intro about me. Sorry if this is a little bit wonky, but I kind of want to do the first video as a one-shot and not actually have to chop it up. Probably not going to do that again though. There's going to be editing in the future. I can guarantee it. But yeah, welcome. I'll definitely have more videos explaining more about my journeys with the health stuff. I'm going to try to explain what it's like to deal with like some of the tests as they come up. And yeah. Hello YouTube viewers. And I'll catch you next time.